I have been on every coaster currently at Walt Disney World, and today I'm going to be ranking them from worst to first. There are 9 coasters currently at Walt Disney World, and I'm going to be ranking them from number 9 to number 1 and giving you guys my takes on them, how I feel about them, and what ones you should go on your next trip, and what ones you should care less about. So, hope you all enjoy this video. Let's get right to it. Alright guys, what's up? Like I said, we're going to be ranking these coasters from worst to first. Got a face cam today. Hope you all enjoy. And let's get right into this. So we have 9 coasters at Walt Disney World. We have a good amount in Magic Kingdom. We have 2 in Hollywood Studios, 1 in Animal Kingdom, and 1 at Epcot. And we're going to get right to it, starting off at number 9. Obviously the worst coaster at Walt Disney World. And before I say it, there's no really bad coasters at Walt Disney World. It's just there's a point where I can rank them all from worst to first and what ones I like the worst to best. And at number 9, Barnstormer. It's a family coaster. It does what it needs to do. It's for younger kids to get on. It's in the Storybook Circus section, Fantasyland, right by TRON, because there's a walking path from like that right to TRON in Tomorrowland. But Barnstormer, the theme is like you're getting on a plane with like Goofy or something, and it's a short little family coaster. I have POV of it on the channel if you do want to see it, and it gets the job done. So like I don't mind it. I've been on it, but like when you have TRON right by it, I'm going to TRON 10 out of 10 times. So yeah, Barnstormer's there. Like I said, it's for the younger kids. It's a family coaster. It's not big at all. And if it's like a 5-minute wait or something, or like no wait, I'll go right on it. But it's not the first ride I'm going on, obviously, if I'm in Fantasyland. Now, at number 8, this ride's dropped down a lot for me lately. And some of you guys will agree with this, and some of you guys will want to yell at me. But I'm sorry. It's arguably the most iconic ride in Walt Disney World. And, you know, I can agree with that. But at number 8, at the second worst coaster at Walt Disney World, I'm sorry, but I have to say Space Mountain, and I'm going to tell you why right now. So, and I'm going to give you my solution to how it can be better. So, I was at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and you have to pay a lot of money to get into that, and that's a hard ticket event that you have to pay a lot to get into, and you only have a certain amount of time to get on whatever rides you want, because, of course, park closes eventually. And I got a lightning lane for Space Mountain. I hopped on the ride, I get in the ride vehicle, and the ride vehicle's small, so like I was crammed in there because I'm not short. And I get in the ride vehicle, the car moves about 14 feet probably, and then it's like at that point in the station where you're just ready to be sent off into the lift hill, and it doesn't go. And then I'm waiting, doesn't go. And I hear the music stop because they had like special music in there for the Christmas party and stuff. Hear that stop, work lights come on and stuff, and I'm just stuck there for like a half hour. And it was super annoying because when you're at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, there's stuff you want to get to. You want to get to the snack stands, you want to get to whatever ride you're planning on getting on, do all those experiences. You know, I got the popcorn bucket back there, and this could happen on any ride, right? So like I could get broke down on Spaceship Earth, I could get broke down on Cosmic Rewind, I could get broken down on the aerial ride, I could get broken down anywhere. But the thing is, with Space Mountain, you have the same track and same system that's been there since the 1970s. And you could shut it down for like 8 months to a year, right? Because you have TRON now, so it's not going to take away much park capacity. If you just shut it down from 8 months to a year, retrack it, add some projections like Disneyland did. But if you just give it a refurbishment, at least retrack it, it could be 10 times better in attraction. When it works, it's a fun ride, so I'm not going to say much about it because, again, most iconic attraction, arguably, in Disney. There's other ones, but just saying. At number 7 is a really themed coaster and is one of the most immersive coasters in Disney for a bunch of different reasons and could go up in my rankings eventually. But it's Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is a super immersive attraction. I love that coaster, and I heard my friend say it before I went on it. Well, of course I've been on it before, but it's been a while, and I went on it, and it's true. The ride is so smooth. It is one of the smoothest coasters at Disney World, and it's really cool. And one thing that makes a lot of Disney rides 10 times better is animatronics. Animatronics make rides so good, and I'm just so thankful this ride has a bunch of animatronics. The Dwarfs animatronics are cool, the animatronics at the end are sick, and it's just really cool, so I like the animatronics. And when you have a classic attraction like this, and of course it's kind of new, it's like a little, I think it's 11 years old now, because I think New Fantasyland opened like 2012, because that's where it is. it's just a super good ride, and it's one that always racks up one of the highest weights in the park. I definitely recommend getting a lightning lane for this if you're gonna get a lightning lane for any attraction in Magic Kingdom, because this one definitely gets some of the longest waits in the park. It can be 90 minutes, 175 minutes. It's insane. People love this ride. And, you know, it's a shorter ride, but it's definitely a cool one, and one that is really immersive, and one I definitely recommend. Like, everything from the queue's cool, the scenery, the indoor sections with animatronics, it's all cool. And this ride's really good, and probably should be ranked up higher. Coming to number 6 now, we have Slinky Dog Dash over at Disney Hollywood Studios. Now, this one, maybe you could argue, is worse than Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, but I love Hollywood Studios a lot. It's my favorite park right now. And Toy Story Land is just such an immersive land, and Slinky Dog Dash is so cool. You get 2 launches, you get some airtime toward the end, you got the Wheezy animatronic at the end, and that's actually a really nice animatronic. I really like it. And just being in the Slinky Dog car is really cool. It like talks and stuff. You get the first launch, you get the helix, and then you go through some turns, get that second launch, and you get some amazing views of the park. Even though you're supposed to be immersed in Toy Story, it's still cool seeing that really far off view of Tower of Terror, or like the spires over in Galaxy's Edge. It's just a really fun attraction, and it's one whenever you have a lightning lane or is worth the wait, like if it's a short wait, I'll always go on it. It's just such a good ride, and it fits Toy Story Land perfectly. Like, they couldn't have done a better attraction for Toy Story than this ride, I feel like. Coming in at number 5, we got TRON Lightcycle Run, the newest coaster at Walt Disney World, and a lot of people have some thoughts on this. Some people hate it, some people love it, and I'm like in the middle, you know. Where you go in and get digitized is super cool. I think that was a really good pre-show. The queue could be a little more themed. I said this in my vlog. I think it'd be kind of cool if they had a Sam Flynn animatronic in the queue or something. And it's honestly unfortunate that that isn't there, because it's actually a pretty good movie. The second movie's pretty good. But the light cycles, people have some thoughts on. I'm not going to go into it, but I like them. I think it's cool. The launch is really fun. The outdoor portion's really fun. The only thing I wish they would do with this is that during Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, I wish they would make the canopy red and green, kind of like what they did with Space Mountain last year with the projections. And I feel like that'd look really cool, because they only do blue and orange, because that's like the 2 teams in the movie. But TRON Lightcycle Run, the only thing I also do wish is that it was longer. It's one of those rides that you don't want it to ever end, but it's just so short. The indoor part is cool. It's alright. I don't mind it. But it's just a super cool part of the ride, and I just wish it could be longer. But, you know, the TRON Lightcycle Run, it does what it needs to do. It gets a lot of capacity in the Magic Kingdom, and people like it. So I went on it 3 or 4 times, I think, and it was a really fun attraction. Like, I'm not going to say anything more about this ride, anything bad at least, because Disney put this ride here in Magic Kingdom, and I'm glad they did. I'd rather have this coaster than no coaster, because it's still a really good ride. Now, coming in at number 4 is, again, arguably one of the most iconic attractions in the parks, and that's Big Thunder Mountain. And just, either if it's a very good immersively themed attraction like Big Thunder Mountain, or it's just like a boardwalk mine train coaster, it's always a fun ride. You know, the mine train coasters are always good rides, and this one's just super cool because it's number 1, it's in Disney, and number 2, it's iconic and it's classic Disney. I watched the Behind the Attraction Season 2 on Disney Plus, and I watched the Big Thunder Mountain episode, and just seeing how they came up with it and how it was created with like Tony Baxter and stuff, it was just super cool to learn about, and it's just a super cool attraction. You know, the Frontier theme of it was super cool because it fits perfectly with Frontierland, and just, it's not the smoothest coaster at Disney. It has some rough elements to it, but it's a super fun ride. It has 3 lift hills. Think of one coaster within 5 seconds that has 3 lift hills. Yes, you didn't come up with one. And it's just a super fun attraction, you know, especially when you're in that final lift hill and the mine stuff. It's just a super fun ride, and is one I'll go on every single time I go to Magic Kingdom. No doubt about it. It is one of the most iconic attractions in Disney, and I stand by that. It's a really fun attraction. It used to be my favorite ride at Disney, like a long time ago, but obviously there's more rides there now, and I've gone on a lot more now. So yeah, Big Thunder Mountain, it's an amazing attraction. If you're in Magic Kingdom, go on that ride. Do not go out of Magic Kingdom without going on Big Thunder Mountain. Now, coming in at number 3, this one is no surprise. Going back to Disney's Hollywood Studios, Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. This ride is the only coaster at Walt Disney World with an inversion. If you don't know what that is, the only coaster that goes upside down. in simple terms. And this ride has a super high-speed launch, one of the best launches, if not the best launch, at Walt Disney World. And it's a super fun attraction, you know, and it's super cool. That's themed off one of the most popular bands ever. And it's just a super good ride. It fits in with Hollywood Studios. You get those old school Hollywood Studios vibes, and fits in with Sunset Boulevard. And I'm glad they haven't rethemed it yet, because they took away a lot of the old Hollywood Studios, and this is one of the only big things that has not changed, and I'm super happy it's still here. And the theming inside the show building is actually super cool, and the whole storyline of how you're getting backstage passage with the super stretch limo, and you're going to like the Aerosmith concert. It's super cool, and I really like it. It's really stood the test of time, and it's still a fun attraction. I rode front row actually last time with Joe, and it was super fun. I enjoyed it. And it's just so good that this coaster is only the number 3 coaster at Walt Disney World, because Walt Disney World is a park that has, you know, lots of family attractions and less known attractions that a lot of people overlook these actually really thrilling and really cool innovative coasters that they have. Coming in at number 2, going to Disney's Animal Kingdom Expedition Everest. This is a really cool coaster, and it goes forwards and backwards. It is the tallest attraction at Walt Disney World at 201 feet, and it definitely you will get some thrills out of this. It is super cool. So the story is that you're taking a journey up into the Forbidden Mountain where there is Yeti. You're trying to get to Everest, and you run into the Yeti, and it does not go well. You go backwards, the track breaks. Well, not really, but in the story, the track breaks, and you go backwards. Then you go into this big room where the Yeti pops up. You go forwards again and have one of the best drops at Disney. And then you see the Yeti animatronic that doesn't move anymore, but still pretty cool. And it's just a super cool ride. And in my opinion, has one of the most underrated queues at Walt Disney World. It has some actual like artifacts and actual like real stuff that you would find out in like Asia in the queue. And it's actually a really cool queue. And like if you don't have to like wait much time, or like you're just kind of going through Lightning Lane, make sure to like take some time, really enjoy the queue, because it's a really nice queue along with this epic attraction. And this, you could argue, is the best coaster at Walt Disney World. There's just one coaster in front of it that I think is the best at Walt Disney World right now. Alright, so coming in at number 1 in all of Walt Disney World is the second newest attraction, opening back in 2022 at no other place than the experimental prototype Community of Tomorrow Epcot. In World Discovery, we got Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. This coaster is a really fun attraction, and I did not get at first how this would fit in Epcot, but they did it. So the theme is, right, how there's World Showcase with all the countries, that the planet Xandar, the planet from Guardians of the Galaxy, is coming to Epcot to show their culture, and it's basically their own pavilion. See, other World Showcase. And that actually, it kind of worked, you know. It talked about Epcot, and it talked about the planet's culture. Like, you had Walt Disney in the queue, you had some other stuff that had to do with Epcot in the queue, especially the references that Star-Lord left in the ride. And that's not only that, there's more where that came from. After you go through the queue, and it's actually a pretty decent queue, it's a pretty short queue, which is why they have boarding groups still to this day. You have this epic pre-show where you get teleported up into a spaceship in outer space, and then the cosmic generator goes missing by this big villain. I don't know what his name is, but it was still really cool. And time like rewinds, it's in the name, and then you go back into like some loading bay, and you get in your Star Jumpers, and from then on, it's a new Omni coaster, a coaster Imagineering customized and made on their own, a new coaster. Well, they obviously partnered with a coaster company, but it's based off like rides like the Haunted Mansion. So what this coaster does is, say that this Gatorade bottle is the track, right? As the car moves down the track, it can move this way too and go like that. It's kind of like dark rides like the Haunted Mansion, right? And you go on a backwards launch, and it plays a couple songs depending on what sequence you get. I guess you'll get one song per ride, and my favorite one's September. It's a really cool. You go backwards off, and you go back to the Big Bang, and you go through space. It's literally a futuristic Space Mountain, in my opinion. Like, if they were to build Space Mountain today, this is probably what they would come up with. And you go through space, There's like a lift hill in the middle of the ride somewhere. You go through a bunch of twists and turns. You pass the moon, you pass the Milky Way, you pass Earth. It's super fun. And there's just so many little references to Epcot, and it just feels Epcot. They made IP, like Guardians of the Galaxy, fit perfectly with Epcot, and is why I think it is the best coaster at Walt Disney World currently. Could I be overhyping it because it's new? Yeah, probably. But I still think it's the best coaster at Walt Disney World because we all love Epcot, right? And yeah, so that is all my coasters at Walt Disney World that I ranked from worst to first. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop your thoughts down in the comments and hit that like button. Again, hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure to go watch some other Disney content. It's been doing really well lately. Hope you all have an amazing day. God bless, and I'll see y'all next time.